All right, folks, this is part 2 of our 5-part video series on how to expunge a dismiss charge. If you missed the first section, I would go back and watch part 1. That kind of talks about what an expunction is, what is a dismiss charge, and a little bit more about how to find out if you're eligible. This second part is going to show you how to find your criminal record, and how to find the paperwork you're going to use to fill out a petition, or a form to expunge your record. So the first thing I want to show y'all is where do you get the form you need. The form it's called a petition, but it's just a form you fill out and you file with the clerks. To get a hold of it, it's called AOC CR287. So you can either go to your clerk's office and ask them for that form. They may have some there. An easier way to do it is also go to the website. We've got a link on the screen right there. Or you can go to the court's website and look up AOC CR287. That'll pull up a copy of the form. Or you should be, if you've got your phone with you, you should be able to pause this video and scan that QR code up there, which should take you to that form. I would get a copy of this. This is kind of going to give you a preview of what you're going to be looking for as you start looking at your criminal record and what you're going to need to fill it out. Our third video is going to actually walk you through this form step by step, but I just wanted to make sure that you know how to get a hold of it. So how are you going to find your criminal record? In North Carolina, the way in which you can access court records now is called eCourts Portal. You may hear folks talk about something called CIPRS, CIPRS. That is an older court record system that you could only access in the courthouse. That is not in use anymore. So if you hear that, disregard it. The way to find your records now is through this eCourts Portal. So how do you get to eCourts Portal? It's a website. The link is right up there on your screen. Same way as before, you can also pause the video, get out your phone, and scan that QR code. That's going to take you to the website to access all your court records. You can also go to a courthouse near your nearby courthouse and use their computers, but it's going to take you to the same website as you get to from your own computer. Once you get there, the first thing you're going to want to click on is Smart Search. And so we're going to talk about how to search these records. So once you click on it, the Smart Search button, you should get something that looks a little bit like this. It's going to say Smart Search, and it's going to have enter a record number or your name and the last name, first name, and a little CAPTCHA thing and a submit button. Here's where you want to think about how to find your records. You can just start by putting in your last name, putting in your first name, and hitting submit and filling out that little CAPTCHA thing. If you've got a fairly unique name and you don't have many records to sort through, that should be good enough. You should be able to find all your records, but you may have to do a little more work if you've got a pretty common name. If you've got a name that a lot of folks in North Carolina have, it's probably going to give you too many records to sort through. So if you see at the bottom of the screen right there, there's something called advanced filtering options. And that's where you're going to need to go if you need to search in any way that's a little more complicated. What that's going to allow you to do is there's going to be a lot of different ways to sort and filter your search results. Um, Often, the most useful one is date of birth. If you put your last name, your first name, and your date of birth, that will hopefully reduce the records to somewhere enough that you should be able to find just the records that apply to you. Another option is to put the county where the record is located. So to be clear, this is going to be the county where the crime was charged. It may not be the county where you lived at the time. So if you were charged in a crime in the county next door, you may need to make sure you're clicking on those counties as well. So keep that in mind. If you feel like you've lived in only one place, make sure that anywhere you may have been charged with something, you're also including in that county dropdown. The other part is you can search by the type of record. You can try and narrow it down to the type of the date of the offense. So you can, if you know there's a charge in the year 2021, you can filter it down that way to find that particular charge. But your goal here is to try this a couple times. Try it in different ways. If your name is, a name that you can be if your name is Jonathan, make sure you try Johnny or John. Try different versions of your name. Try different filters to make sure that you get all of the possible records so you can get them all expunged. You don't want to leave a record behind and see that pop up later on and be like, oh, I must not have caught it. Make sure you catch all your records here. Once you hit submit, you're going to see a screen, which we'll go to on the next page. This is what the search result looks like. You should get a list of cases, or maybe there's just one, but often you'll see a list of cases. You'll see names of the person, you'll see case numbers, you'll see what their status is. And here's where you want to make sure you are clicking on each of the cases or each of the records that you may want to expunge. And we're going to need to look at each record individually to make sure that that record is a dismissed charge or finding him not guilty and qualifies you for your relief. So if you have 5 records or 10 records, you're going to have to check each one and figure out which ones qualify. And to check them, you're just going to click on that case number on the left side of the screen. When you do that, it's going to open up that individual record. And make sure you see on these search results, you can go back to the Smart Search and fiddle around with it, change your search filters, or you can scroll down. There may be multiple pages of results, so make sure you look through all of them. But once you think you found the records you need, click on the case numbers, and then you will hop into the record itself where we can talk about what to look for. Once you click on a record, you should get a screen that looks a little bit like this. This is a individual record. As you can see, there is a case summary at the top with the file number. You can see it's in Wake District Court. You can see the case information tells you what kind of case it is. A lot of these offenses are going to be they're abbreviated, so they may be a little tricky to understand, but you can always look those up. So you can see here it's speeding, driving while impaired, and you've got an offense date, so when it happened, the filing date, and then if you look over on the right, you're going to see a case type, criminal, and then the case status, which says it's still pending. Now that's important. A lot of times it will say disposed. That means the case is over. If it says pending, you've probably got an issue that your court case is ongoing for some reason or another. So make sure to check that. As we keep going down, You're going to see the assignment information, which is the court it's been assigned to. It's Wake District Court. You're going to see the party information. That should have your information on there with an address. And then you're going to see the case events. And we can't really see it on this screen, but down in that case events, if the case is over, there's going to be a line that says disposition. That's going to be important in determining how the case ended, right? Was it dismissed? Was there a trial? Were you found guilty? Were you found not guilty? That's all going to be in that line. So those are just two things I'm pointing out right now and where to find them. When you get to the next video about how to fill out your petition, we will go through that in more detail. But for right now, this is what your record looks like. Now, what I would do is there's going to be a little button in the top right-hand corner. You can't see it on this screen, but you should see it on yours, to get a PDF copy. I would just go ahead and do that. Save all of the records that you want to get expunged as a PDF. Then you don't have to try and find them again. Just save them somewhere on your computer and you can look at the record as a whole. And that will help you should you need to see, once you start filling out the petition and you need to see which things you need to write in your petition. If you're the eCourts portal system is a little difficult to navigate. It takes some getting used to. If you're having trouble, here's some tutorials that the folks who made it put up. Feel free to use that link or that QR code. I think the Smart Search video talks about how to actually filter and use it well. So try this if you're still having trouble, but this is the main way that you're going to find any records that you need. Once you found those records, you're going to start filling out the petition. And for that, that's going to be our next video, the third video in this series. So click on ahead to that, and we'll show you how to actually use this record to fill out that other form, the petition that we showed you earlier.